1,000 subscribers. Oh. Hey everyone, this is James from Brewing Books. The day is finally here. I am delighted to show you my Tolkien book collection. But first, a massive thank you to you all. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. Brewing Books has now reached the 1K subscribers milestone. And to celebrate that, here's the promised Tolkien book video. It's going to be a very long video. So I decided to tackle this Tolkien book tour from a spatial point of view. So I'll be going sequentially by bookshelf rather than the types of books. So you might see paperbacks categorized with hardbacks every now and then, but generally the flow is quite ordered. So starting from this shelf here, we have quite a number of paperbacks, most of them coming from the black cover collection. And off we go. And right at the beginning, the one that started it all, the Silmarillion, Unfinished Tales, The Hobbit, The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers. This is the only paperback copy I have of this volume, which unfortunately does not match with the rest of the other books. The Return of the King, Tales from the Perilous Realm, which again unfortunately I'm still missing the single paperback edition of Tolkien's Roverandom. Next up, J.R.R. Tolkien, a biography by Humphrey Carpenter, The Letters of J.R.R. Tolkien, edited by Humphrey Carpenter, The Road to Middle-earth by Tom Shippey, the recent release of the single paperback edition for Leaf by Niggle, Tree and Leaf, Bilbo's Last Song, The Monsters and the Critics and Other Essays, Finn and Hengest, edited by Alan Bliss, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, edited by Christopher Tolkien. And now for some in-depth analysis books. John D. Ratcliffe's 2-volume history of The Hobbit, Part 1, Mr. Baggins, and Part 2, Return to Bag End. And now for the monumental History of Middle-earth series, edited by Christopher Tolkien. This particular paperback collection took me years to complete, the first acquisition having been made way back in 2006. Jeez. The Book of Lost Tales Part 1 and Part 2, The Lays of Beleriand, The Shaping of Middle-earth, The Lost Road and Other Writings, The Return of the Shadow, The Treason of Isengard, The War of the Ring, Sauron Defeated, Morgoth's Ring, The War of the Jewels, The Peoples of Middle-earth, and The History of Middle-earth Index. Okay, now here's one of my favorite collections, the Hardback series. I'm just so glad that over the years a concerted effort has been made by the publishers to achieve a rather smooth consistency between the different covers. Starting off again with The Silmarillion, The Hobbit, The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, The Return of the King, Unfinished Tales, The Children of Húrin, this being my first edition of a Tolkien book, Beren and Luthien, The Fall of Gondolin, and with a little bit of magic, the new release of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings box set, with The Hobbit, The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King, and Unfinished Tales. On to the next shelf, with a signed copy of The Fall of Gondolin by artist and illustrator Alan Lee, the hardback edition of Tales from the Perilous Realm. This also contains the story of Roverandom, Beowulf, a translation and commentary, The Fall of Arthur, the best non-Middle-earth Tolkien book in my opinion, The Legend of Sigurd and Gudrun, The Story of Kullervo, The Lay of Othrå and Dithron, and here are some paperback editions of The Fall of Arthur, The Children of Húrin, Beren and Luthien, The Fall of Gondolin, The Legend of Sigurd and Gudrun, The Story of Kullervo, and The Lay of Othrå and Dithron. And just over here there's a little box set containing single pocket hardback editions of the works that make up the Tales from the Perilous Realm. Roverandom, Smith of Wootton Major, The Adventures of Tom Bombadil, and Farmer Giles of Ham. In addition, here's a copy of Tolkien's Gedling by Andrew H. Morton and John Hayes, and the Atlas of Tolkien's Middle-earth by Karen Wynne Fonstad. This is an indispensable volume if you'd like to get your Silmarillion and Lord of the Rings geography just right. So on to the next shelf. Here we have some particularly special hardback editions, including J.R.R. Tolkien, artist and illustrator, by Wayne G. Hammond and Christina Scholl, The Road Goes Ever On, Tolkien Maker of Middle-earth by Catherine McIlwain, The Complete Guide to Middle-earth by Robert Foster, The Art of the Hobbit by Wayne G. Hammond and Christina Scholl, The Art of the Lord of the Rings, also by Wayne G. Hammond and Christina Scholl, a facsimile edition of Tolkien's short story Mr. Bliss, Letters from Father Christmas, and The History of Middle-earth Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3, and the 2-volume set of the J.R.R. Tolkien Companion and Guide by Wayne G. Hammond and Christina Scholl, with the chronology and the reader's guide. However, this is, I believe, not the recent edition of this particular set, as there has been a new publication with updated information. Here are some deluxe hardback editions, starting with the Letters from Father Christmas, which for some reason has the back card inserted the wrong way around, The Fall of Arthur, The Legend of Sigurd and Gudrun, Tales from the Perilous Realm, and Unfinished Tales. The paperback version of Beowulf, a translation and commentary, and a pocket-sized version of The Hobbit. Now, this was marketed as leather-bound, I believe, but unfortunately it's not really leather, and the cover is all but falling off by itself. Now, here's something a bit different. Roots and Branches, Selected Papers on Tolkien by Tom Shippey, which I highly recommend to anyone wanting to delve deeper into the professor's writings. Green Suns and Fairy, Essays on J.R.R. Tolkien by Verlyn Flieger. Arda Reconstructed by Douglas Charles Kane. A Gateway to Sindarin by David Salo. A Question of Time, edited by Verlyn Flieger. Tolkien on Fairy Stories, also by Verlyn Flieger and Douglas A. Anderson. The Lord of the Rings, A Reader's Companion by Wayne G. Hammond and Christina Scholl. The Complete Tolkien Companion by J.E.A. Tyler. The Ring of Words, Tolkien and the Oxford English Dictionary by Peter Gilliver, Jeremy Marshall and Edmund Weiner. J.R.R. Tolkien, Author of the Century by Tom Shippey. Tolkien and the Great War by John Garth. This, by the way, is an essential read on Tolkien's early years and his experiences during the First World War. The Inklings by Humphrey Carpenter. The Real Middle-earth by Michael Mulling. And Tolkien, Race and Cultural History by Dimitra Fini. So for the final shelf, we'll start off with the pocket-sized version of The Lord of the Rings in a single-volume edition. The first edition facsimile of The Hobbit, as it was published back in 1937. The Super Deluxe edition of The Children of Húrin, and here follow the deluxe editions of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, The Story of Kullervo, Beowulf, a translation and commentary, The Fall of Gondolin, Beren and Luthien, Unfinished Tales, The Children of Húrin, The Silmarillion, The Lord of the Rings, and The Hobbit. And as an extra mention, the maps of Tolkien's Middle-earth by Brian Sibley and illustrations by John Howe. Neat. And The Annotated Hobbit by Douglas A. Anderson. Oof, that was quite long. So that's all from my Tolkien book collection. I have some tie-in books and companion guides from the films, but I thought I would focus on just the Tolkien books for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. As always, thanks for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.